This program is made possible by 46% of non-retirees believe they can't afford to retire. American Senior Benefits agents help retirees find solutions aiding your journey to retirement and financial security. More at wichita.americanseniorbenefits.com. Moving can be stressful. Whether your move is local or long distance, 2 Men in a Truck can help. More at twomen.com.
Are you a wartime veteran ages 73 to 85? Did you know there are new rules that may affect your pension? Don't lose out on benefits you deserve. Our team serves you because you served us. Contact Long-Term Care for Veterans today.
King Senior Solutions, educating clients and offering solutions for Medicare beneficiaries. Personally selecting the plan that fits your needs. More at kingseniorsolutions.com. King Senior Solutions supports KPTS.
Hello, I'm Katherine Ambrose, and this is Empowering Seniors. Our goal behind every episode is to equip, educate, and empower seniors, and also their loved ones, on all the different types of topics that would be empowering to you. Today we're going to delve deep into the topic of preparing to downsize. With 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day, the topic of where to live, how and when to get there is a big one. So downsizing, also sometimes called right-sizing, is a hot topic. We really want to focus on what you can do to kind of break that down and take action. No doubt, downsizing is a big elephant, so we've brought an expert in today to help us take action. So I've brought in Dr. Nikki Buckelew to help us kind of break that down a little bit. Nikki, I know you're a realtor, and you're a national speaker and trainer.
Yep.
I think that makes you pretty qualified to talk about some of the issues that are kind of behind downsizing and why people feel so stuck. I just know that there's so many seniors that have this huge, overwhelming list of things to do, at least in their mind, and they have a lot of guilt, and there's just so much baggage. So if you could kind of address that a little bit, what are some of the most important things that you've learned about downsizing and late life relocations?
So you want to unpack some of that baggage?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll unpack it. I think I heard you mention in your intro that this is a big elephant, right?
Right.
And that's a great metaphor, because first thing we try to do is try to help people, take it one bite at a time, right? So first of all, thanks for the opportunity to do this.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be back on the show and to talk about a topic that is something I've been studying for the better part of 20 years now, right? And actually doing it in the field as well as a real estate agent. So to unpack this word, you said it, overwhelm.
Right.
It is the number one most used word, not just as seniors, but at any age when you think about moving. Whether you have 3 little kids in tow or you're a single adult with a busy job, it's overwhelming. So now the folks who've been living in their home for 40, 50, 60 years even sometimes now have a lot on their plate. So let's unpack it. I think that one of the things that I try to do is qualify what type of move is somebody making. Because just because you're a senior doesn't mean that you're doing things, all seniors do the same thing. That's crazy, right?
Right.
So we look at it as, okay, there are 3 or 4 different types of moves. And you know this, and we've talked about this many times, right? The amenity-based move, where somebody's moving to a beautiful home like this one, where the amenities are new and fresh and they smell good, and somebody who's moved out of a home they've lived in, raised their kids, this is a great opportunity for them to start over. And that's ideally what we would all love everybody to do, right? Is move because they want to, and it's exciting, and they're looking forward, right? And so, unfortunately, that's not always the kind of client that we're dealing with, right? And this was something that came out of my research for my doctorate, and that was that couples and people who are planners are often making a move there's a delicate balance between the pragmatic side of the move, like I need to do this because it's the smart thing to do, and the emotional side of it is I really don't want to move. I may kind of want to move. This might be nice, but it's smart to do. Like there's a pragmatism behind it.
Right.
And we call that anticipatory or preparatory move.
Okay.
So the folks who move to like a senior living community, for instance, that has all levels of care, right, a CCRC, they're thinking, okay, if I do this now, I move into this cottage or this apartment, and then later I need health care, or later my wife or I need health care or spouse, then we have it available, and my kids don't have to worry about it.
Right.
They're planning ahead.
Right.
And that type of move is an interesting move because in many cases, especially like I said with the dissertation research with couples, you and your husband work together, my husband and I work together. Do you always agree?
No.
Right? Yeah. And I would love to say it's a 50-50, but I don't know about that. So with couples, you don't make a decision unilaterally.
Right.
You've got to negotiate that decision together. And so it's a very interesting thing when one person's planning ahead and the other person's going, things are fine.
I don't want to leave
Why
my
do
garage.
we need to move? Yeah.
I don't want to leave my tools. I
Right.
love my house.
I don't want to leave my china. I don't want to get rid of my collections. Yeah. So that anticipatory preparatory move requires, whether they're single or a couple, really requires people to think ahead and ask themselves, why am I doing this?
We've been here 23 years. It was just more house than what we can keep up with. I was having to hire gardeners or mowers, and I used to do it all, and it was just too much for me. That was my main reason why it was just more work than I can handle. My husband, he's not able to get out and work in the yard or do much, and so I just felt like that I needed to go in someplace or turn it over to other people, somebody that would enjoy this house as much as we will. That'll stay here. That'll go. Okay. Sale. Sure. John Weber, he was the one that contacted us first, and he had just kind of began his business, and then he set us up with Katherine Ambrose, and then they came over and they just have taken care of us very well. So they had all these people that already lined out that the ladies could come in and help us, and they have just been fantastic. Sam and Donnette, they're just fantastic at what they're doing. So they've helped me a whole lot, and that has helped my kids. That lets them know that Mom hasn't had to overdo on a lot of things. We found Katherine Ambrose, her realty. They came in and just have helped us enormously, and these girls have helped pick out what we needed to get rid of, and I don't know, I'd just say contact somebody like that because they are into the downsizing.
That type of move definitely fuels a move into a smaller home usually, closer to family, maybe to a CCRC, like I said, or to a senior community. It can also, by the way, be a house or a garden home in a neighborhood where there's lawn care taken care of,
right,
maintenance free, that kind of thing. And a lot of times people will think if they do that, they'll say, this is my forever home.
Exactly.
And is it their forever home? Maybe, maybe not. Right?
Right.
Yeah, some people it is their forever home. For some people, they may move 2 or 3 more times. We don't know. But then there's the third type of move, and that one is probably the one I would suggest that your Empowered Senior series that you're doing is the one to help people avoid this one, which is the needs-based move or the crisis-based move.
Right.
The needs-based move, people have a need. There's a current problem with them managing their home, or they're maybe they don't want to, but in most cases they can't. They struggle doing it, either health-wise or maybe they're serving as a full-time caregiver for a spouse. And so they're making a move because they need to do it.
And really, we see a lot of people that are kind of in-betweeners, kind of in between the anticipatory and the needs-driven, to where maybe they could stay in their home, but it just would be easier maybe not to. They won't have to worry about the siding issues that
Right.
they've been dealing with, or they can't keep the
Right.
lawn and garden up the way they've always done it.
Yeah.
And they're starting to think ahead. And sometimes it might be driven because one of them is starting to experience a little
Yeah.
physical or cognitive decline.
Yeah.
And it causes a lot of times the other person to say, oh boy,
Yeah.
maybe we should move, because I think they want to get things settled
Yeah.
before they end up maybe not getting as much help,
Yeah.
thinking through and making all the decisions.
This happened just recently. A friend of ours, she called and she said, my dad fell. I was supposed to go visit him. So I had a planned meeting with him. I kept calling to remind him I was coming. He wasn't answering the phone. And he had fallen the night before, and she found him there the next day. And he had been adamant he was not going to move, ever. And he didn't need to. He was doing okay. But she said, when she called, she said, the first thing he said to me when I got there and we got ready to go to the hospital, he said, I'm moving out of this house and I don't want to come back.
Oh.
It was a crisis, right?
Right. Yeah.
And fortunately, it wasn't a terrible crisis. He managed to get to the hospital and everything was okay, but it scared him. And so that kind of crisis can occur. It can be sometimes if someone has memory impairment and let's say they catch something on fire on their stove. That could happen to me or you.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Easily.
For sure.
Has
Right.
happened to me. But when you're living by yourself, or maybe when you're wondering if there's some things going on, then that kind of crisis can precipitate a decision to make a move. And fortunately, sometimes people don't get to make that decision, right?
Right.
Their kids make the decision, or the doctor makes the decision, or even Adult Protective Services makes the decision.
Right.
And what happens when they have that decision made for them is, generally speaking, anybody. It would be me or you. If somebody made that decision and we didn't want that, people are unhappy. I mean, right? And outright resentful sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's nice if you can make your own decisions, or that you've at the very least communicated what your decisions would be.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
requires some due diligence
Yeah.
and some planning.
Yeah. And I think that's so important that people be communicating that with their spouse as well as their kids, if they have kids. If they don't have kids, then whatever trusted advisor is in charge of that.
Right.
You would be amazed. Maybe you wouldn't. I was amazed at how many of the couples that I spoke with did not have conversations about these kinds of things until they had a need.
Right.
Well, so going back to overwhelm, you talked about the elephant and breaking it down. I think the number one biggest decision people have to make is where and then when. So where is first, and so many people try to deal with all the stuff. Like they'll look around their house and they'll see the china hutch, or they'll see the kitchen full of things, or the closets that are packed full, or the basement or the attic. And that becomes an impediment to even being able to think about anything else.
Right.
So we kind of have broken it down for people where we say, there are 10 steps, and the first step is, where do you want to live? Now or later. Like, you don't have to move today,
Right.
but at least kind of decide what that would look like.
So what does where are we going to live solve for you?
Well, it solves the what can I take problem.
Right. Because you know how big your place is going to be.
That's right, yeah.
And you
So
can,
if you're moving into a 2-bedroom with one dining room, you know how much bedroom furniture you can take, and if you can take your china hutch or not.
right, which table you're going to take.
Exactly, or if any, right? Or do you
Right.
need to buy all new furniture?
Because some people do like to buy all new
right.
furniture.
Yeah.
There's so much that factors into a downsize move. And luckily, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Downsizing specialists offer free consults and complete move management. Their job is to advise, recommend, coordinate, and oversee every step. They provide emotional, physical, and logistical support to get clients from overwhelmed to overjoyed.
Every client is different, so we always start with a consultation to come out into their home and take a look at, really what we're going to be working with. And that first initial visit will include what goals they have, whether they are downsizing and moving into maybe a patio home, senior living. So we always need to find out where they're going, because one of the things we do is go into their new place and we'll take measurements of where the furniture can go, where we can place things, kitchen cabinets, so we know how much space they have to work with. Because typically a downsizing move is something, you know, fairly substantial. They're moving from several thousand square feet into sometimes under 1,000 square feet. So, and that's the first kind of step we'll take with them. And then from there, the real work begins. We'll, you know, work around their schedule, come into their home and actually work side by side with them. So we do all of the physical work as well, as far as moving things in and out of cabinets, in and out of closets, things like that, and pulling everything out so they see what they have and they know what space they have to take things. And then we'll stage things in different areas so we know what gets packed, what gets left here for maybe an estate sale or donation, whatever they choose to do. And then we'll go ahead and help them get moved into their new place. And then I think the biggest thing that we really do, other than the physical of helping them move from their home really, is actually getting them resettled. So after they move into their new home and, you know, we kind of let the estate sale company take over where they've moved from, we will go in and help them resettle into their new place. So that means everything from obviously setting up beds and, you know, coffee makers in the kitchen, all of their dishes, all of their cabinets, all of their closets, their clothes, their dressers, everything will be set up within another day or so. We have had a lot of clients where their family isn't around here. You know, they're out of state, or they just don't have the time. Most families have their own families at this point. They have school activities, kids activities, and they're running from here to there. So there are a lot of cases where they're not available to help their parents and or grandparents for that matter. And that's where we come in, and they're, you know, mostly supportive of what's going on. That doesn't always happen, and of course it's a sad situation when it doesn't, because sometimes kids are a little more resistant than their parents. Their parents are ready to move on and have a new lifestyle, and sometimes the kids are like, oh, you're leaving the home I grew up in. You know, so it is a sad situation for the kids sometimes too. It's very emotional for everybody involved. But that's part of what we do, and what we love about what we do is getting everybody on the same page.
So what should downsizers be worried about when it comes to getting the house ready?
Well, my philosophy is, it depends on why you're moving. It depends on your house. So I'm going to generalize, and I'm going to assume that someone is making an anticipatory move or a needs-based move.
Okay.
They don't really have the energy or desire to remodel their kitchen or replace things. They just want to move, okay? So in many cases, people think, oh, I have to make all these repairs, and I have to change out my carpet, and I have to paint. And our philosophy is, let's look at the house and make sure that if you do that, it's a wise return on investment.
Exactly.
Before you do it. And for the majority of our clients, it's not. For the majority of our clients, now obviously I'm in a different market than yours, so it would depend, right? That's my standard answer in a seminar is it depends. But if it makes sense to carpet and paint, maybe because it would make the house more sellable, it's not going to make you more money, but it's going to make it more appealing, then let's do it. But we wait, they move out, the house is empty, and then we oversee that being done for them, because the thought of doing it freaks some of our clients out, as it should.
Right.
And then other houses, we just say do it as is, just as is, where is, don't do a thing to it. Let's price it correctly so that it'll sell. And the reason for that, Katherine, is just to reduce the stress that they have.
And our goal is to help people avoid accidents, illness, and heart attacks.
Right.
And sometimes we see some of the most capable, I'm going to say women in particular, that can do a lot of things themselves. And like, I don't need a downsizing coach. I don't need a move manager. I don't need people coming in to help me. Those oftentimes, unfortunately, are some of the people that do end up in the hospital. The whole idea of downsizing was to make your life better, to make your life easier. And so I always say we want to survive the process. In fact, if we can make it enjoyable,
that's even better.
That would be ideal.
We met with a woman recently who wanted us to come out and look at her house and help her. She was stuck. That was her word. And I went with our move manager, and we sat with her, and she had pulled everything out of her closets and cupboards, and and it was like she had set up everything, and she had gone through it and got rid of what she didn't want. And I said, tell me about this. And she said, well, I've been going through things, trying to decide what to keep and what to get rid of. And I said, well, where are you moving? And she said, I don't know. And that was why she's stuck, because she didn't know where she was going. And so therefore she didn't know what all she could take. She didn't know how many drawers she was going to have, or how many cupboards, or how many cabinets.
Well, it sounds like she was trying to think of a logical way to approach things.
Right.
But if it's the first time you've been approached with how do you go about doing this, rather than maybe learning from people that have learned before you might not have the best plan.
Right.
And that's something that we can help people figure out the best plan to do it. Let's talk about the best tried and true logistical plan. Start with contacting just one person, a certified senior downsizing coach. A certified senior downsizing coach is a senior housing professional that has all of the resources to help you find the perfect new home, bring in that team of downsizing specialists that assist and help manage your move, get the home sold, coordinate all of that, plus help you decide what to do with the extra stuff. One method they use is a living estate sale. They help you interview and select an estate sale company and oversee the process. They work with professionals that understand every aspect of making this transition and how to help.
When you have built a lifetime of memories with a dish, even just a dish, or with a piece of furniture, it's so hard, especially our seniors who are downsizing. It's very hard when they know they're not going to be able to fit it into their new place, and maybe they don't have children, or the children don't have room. I think it makes them very happy to know that it is going somewhere where it's going to be loved. We have had clients that are just absolutely ecstatic with the amount of money that they've made, because they just didn't know what would sell, what wouldn't sell. And so we've just built great relationships with our clients, and some of them sometimes have thought about doing a garage sale, and they don't have to do any of the work. And then at the end of the sale, it's their choice. They can pack it up, but most generally, we pack it up for them. We do all the donations. We meet with the companies that pick up the donations. We donate to lots of charities in town. We donate to Open Door. We donate to Grace Presbyterian. We've donated to Wichita Women's Initiative Network. We donate to Goodwill. We donate to DAV. So we also are helping the community at the end of the sale, helping our client to pack everything up and donate, but then also helping our community. Like after this sale, I have someone coming from Open Door to pick up all the kitchen and all the clothing. And it just that way we can expend the love around and share it with everyone.
Yeah, and nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste.
If you're thinking about making a move maybe in the next couple of years, getting rid of stuff, even stuff you think is like useless, might not be the best. So
it might prohibit you from having an estate sale later.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the estate liquidator may look at that and go, well, now you don't have enough.
Right.
And so since you don't have enough, we're going to have to donate it or liquidate it another way. And it's a catch-22. And so I like to catch people early.
Exactly.
Right, and I think that's your philosophy too, right?
Yes.
You catch them early, and then you can kind of help decide, should I hang on to all this stuff and just maybe put it in a out of sight, out of mind place, and then when I do move, we can just sell it, or is it better to go ahead and start getting rid of it? And I just don't ever like people to be caught off guard. I like them to know what their options are ahead of time.
Absolutely, because that's how you can figure things out, is you gather all the information and then you can decide for yourself how you want to do things. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff as we go on. If you have more questions about downsizing, selling your home, everything that's involved with that, or any of our topics, please feel free to reach out to me at any time or to KPTS Channel 8. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to Empowering Seniors.
This program is made possible by 46% of non-retirees believe they can't afford to retire. American Senior Benefits agents help retirees find solutions aiding your journey to retirement and financial security. More at wichita.americanseniorbenefits.com. Moving can be stressful. Whether your move is local or long distance, 2 Men in a Truck can help. More at 2men.com.
Are you a wartime veteran ages 73 to 85? Did you know there are new rules that may affect your pension? Don't lose out on benefits you deserve. Our team serves you because you've served us. Contact Long-Term Care for Veterans today.
King Senior Solutions, educating clients and offering solutions for Medicare beneficiaries. Personally selecting the plan that fits your needs. More at kingseniorsolutions.com. King Senior Solutions supports KPTS.